Now, over the past few months, I've had the awesome opportunity to film a couple of brand new Mercedes-Benz models that have just come out, and those include a couple of electric ones, which are the EQE and EQS. And if you're in the market for one, you might be wondering what the difference is. So in this video today, we're covering just that, a complete comparison guide. Now, just before we go through the exterior and interior and dimensions and that sort of thing, I thought I'd cover the price difference between these two. Now obviously this is correct at the time of recording, but there is a £30,000, well almost £30,000 price difference between these two. So they do look almost the same, and to be fair, without their badging on them, the EQS or EQE, I think even I'd struggle to tell the difference because they do look almost the same. So let's show you a few things on the exterior that are slightly different. They're both based on the same chassis, but the EQE is slightly smaller, so in essence you could call this one a baby EQS. Here you can see the EQS stretching out past the EQE at the rear, with the EQS just over 5 metres and the EQE just under. Width-wise it's very close, so the only important thing to really factor in here is the extra length. As the EQE wheelbase is 90mm shorter, there is less legroom in the back when comparing the two, but the EQS has exceptional legroom anyway, so that certainly isn't the problem with it being reduced. And the last couple of things I noticed on the exterior were that the EQS actually has a light bar. So a light bar is usually quite popular on EVs. They kind of have the single strip of light here that goes across the front bumper, but it's not actually present on the EQE. So I think they've gone for a more traditional look with just the headlights, although there is a light bar on the back, which is obviously quite nice. Now the last thing I noticed as well on the EQS is that it actually has double glazed windows. Yes, that's right, in a car you can have double glazing. Now that is standard on the EQS, probably taking some attributes from the S-Class, just making it as acoustically quiet as possible when you're on the road. Now just very quickly covering the boot, of course the EQS has the larger boot of the two, but what I'd like to draw your attention to is how the boot opens. So if I open up the boot on the EQS, you'll see that the whole glass panel goes up with the boot, whereas the EQE, it opens a bit like a saloon. So of course, both boots being extremely large, there is slightly less space in this because of that shorter wheelbase, but there is storage space underneath on both cars, so you can get like the charging cable underneath and stop it taking up space on the top. The EQS obviously having that slightly larger boot, there is a blind that can go up there to stop anyone looking underneath, and then also we've got the kind of storage space on the left hand side, which isn't present on this car. So straight on to the rear seats. Now I'm currently sat in the Mercedes-Benz EQE, and I've set this seat up for my driving position, so sat behind myself. And yeah, just like when I did the EQE review, which I'll link up above, loads of legroom here. I've got the sunroof that goes all the way back past my head, so that's all really good. Everything is almost identical to the EQS, apart from one thing, and that is the seats. So the seats in the EQE, you've kind of got this leather material here, but then over here you've got the kind of in the middle where you sit, a very soft kind of Artico suede material, which is really, really nice. It's just different to the EQS because the EQS is full leather. So everything else is exactly the same, but I guess that's the only thing that is different that I can see. But let's jump in the EQS and show you that one. So swiftly moving on to the EQS, again set that seat up there for my driving position and then sat behind myself, and yeah, you can clearly see extra legroom there. You can probably get those legs stretched out, and yeah, loads of room. Seats, just as I said, with the leather across the whole seat as opposed to the sweaty bit in the middle. Did actually notice it might be due to the curvature of the roof. The EQE roof actually goes back a little bit further, whereas the EQS roof stops just here. So EQE probably has an extra few inches. I guess that's just due to the curvature of the roof on the chassis. Now I did forget an extra thing actually. The EQS also has these awesome pillows, which they're just so good. I wish I had one of those in my car because I could literally just fall asleep on there. Yeah. So up front in both of these cars, they should be exactly the same. I will just jump in the EQS in a second, just cast my eye over everything, but I know that virtually everything's got the same layout, got the same line across here that shows you the where the air comes out with the vents, got the multimedia screen there and the instrument cluster. Everything's got the same design. Of course the seats, just like I mentioned on the rear seats, they're slightly different, but everything else should be the same. Now I won't cover the multimedia system in this video just because I've made a separate video just on my top 5 favourite things on this new system, which I'll link up above. But if you want to see the review videos on the EQE specifically, or even the EQS, the links for those are in the description down below. So yeah, I know virtually everything is the same here. I'm just going to quickly jump in the EQS, just see if there's anything kind of different like immediately, but let's have a look. And then jumping in the EQS, pretty much everything is in exactly the same place. Although I have got the seat in a very similar position and I feel like I've got more room. It's probably just because of that longer wheelbase. But yeah, everything else exactly the same. Same multimedia screen, instrument clusters, all the buttons in exactly the same place. The seats, of course, being all leather across the whole seat instead of that suede bit there. But yeah, everything else appears to be exactly the same. Now, apart from all that being the same, there is one huge difference on the EQS. Now, most S-Class cars in the UK have air suspension, or you can opt for air suspension. EQS do, or you can get that on the EQS, so that is pretty good because then you kind of float along the road almost. It's very, very noticeable. Now, of course, if you do have that, you can toggle that off just using dynamic select. Kind of just put it into sport mode and then it will kind of lock off the suspension, which will make it feel a bit like the EQE then. But yeah, EQS does have a little edge on that one. Now, also available to order on the EQE and EQS is a thing called the Hyperscreen. The MBUX Hyperscreen quite simply turns your dashboard into this, and it looks absolutely incredible. Now, I will add, this isn't available on all electric variants between the two cars, so it's only on specific ones, so double check with your local Mercedes to be sure. But if you want to see me cover that in the future, make sure you're subscribed, so hit that bell notification and that subscribe button down below, and when I do get my hands on one, you won't miss out. Now then guys, we've covered some of the more basic things and slight differences there. Let's get on to the technical data, and this is where these cars are quite different. So, starting up with their horsepowers, EQE is 245 horsepower, whereas the EQS is 333 horsepower. So yes, EQS is faster, got a quicker 0 to 60 time as well. So if you want the extra power, maybe that one. Now, in terms of batteries, the EQE has an 89 kilowatt hour battery, whereas the EQS, again, tops it, 107.8 kilowatt hour battery, which means this has the better range. So EQE is 394 miles, whereas the EQS can go up to, wait for it, 453 miles on its one charge, which is crazy. That is more than some petrol engines can do. But of course that is WLTP, and obviously bear in mind that is with the smallest wheel size. So if you do opt for premium or premium plus packages and get larger wheels for both cars, of course, just bear in mind that range will be slightly less, and they're all printed in the brochure if you wanted to see what impact it has. But yeah, 394 and 453. And then we get on to charge speeds. Now, for most people, the best way to charge an electric car is, of course, on a driveway or garage at home or something like that. And in the UK, we can most of the time charge at 7 kilowatts, which will be a 9 to 12 hour charge at home, so charging while you sleep. But in terms of the max charge speeds that these cars can do, 11 kilowatts on its top port, which is the AC charging. And then when you go to DC charging, this is where they both shine. This one can charge up to 170 kilowatts, basically meaning if you find a charge point that fast, it can do 10 to 80% in 32 minutes. And then the EQS, again, does top it slightly. This can charge at a rate of 200 kilowatts, but it will do the 10 to 80 in 30 minutes. So only 2 minutes difference between the two, so honestly I don't think you'd notice it that much. But yeah, both of course really, really good in terms of range and performance. So those are the stats on those two. So then guys, to summarise, the EQS is almost £30,000 more than the EQE, and you get a size increase on the length of 270mm, a larger boot of 180 litres, a faster 0 to 60 time, more horsepower, a larger battery, meaning more range, and currently one of the best ranges in the world for electric. Of course, there was more legroom in the EQS and a quieter on-the-road drive with sound dampening such as the double glazed windows and air suspension. And of course, there's that light bar on the front as well. So which one should you go for? Well, honestly, if it was me choosing, I would probably go for an EQE, but I have got my eye on that EQE 53 when it arrives in the UK. Speaking of which, if you want to, you can also opt for AMGs in both if you wish, just in case you wanted that faster performance. The EQE 53 will offer 625 horsepower, whereas the EQS 53 will offer 658 horsepower, so can't wait to see those. So guys, thank you so much for watching today's video on the EQE versus the EQS. Of course, if there's anything I haven't covered, you have a question or you're not sure about something, pop it in the comments section down below and I'll try my best to answer any questions you guys might have. I'd like to give a huge shout out to these guys, Sandown Mercedes-Benz, as they helped get these two cars here so I can make this video for you. So yeah, side by side, they're quite difficult to get side by side, so huge shout out to them. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next week, we'll see you then.